Hello, Lucas. Welcome. Just confirm. You can hear me, right? Yes. I just check myself. That's fine. The title's right for once. Perfect. Right. Let me get all this set up. Welcome, Nate. Watching Rayner about to start his first lap, the first lap of this qualifying session here at the final race of this season at the Yas Marina circuit. In some ways, I can't even believe that the season's already over. Rayner DRS deployed for the Argentine. Hang on, down towards turn 6 and then 7. Coyes actually was the first to set a lap time. His camera's glitched though because it just shows, I'm pretty sure it just shows that he's in the pits. Yeah. So that's some weird glitch I've never seen before, and I've commentated for quite a long time, used spectator mode for quite a long time. I've never seen that in my life. So that's certainly a weird one. Nate, sorry, I missed your message. I am not too bad, thanks. I've been out with my mates. Rayner to cross the line. Will he go top here at Abu Dhabi? No, he doesn't. 3/10 slower than Coyes. I've been out with my mates all afternoon, so that's been alright. Nate's already retiring from the session. I think that was a crash for the Ferrari driver. No one, well, Rayner would have been close to him. But, yeah, Nate, I don't really know what's happened there. Have you gone into the last to first? One can believe. Here comes Lucas towards the line. P3, 2/10 off his teammate. 5/10. Oh, Coyes. The FIA clearly aren't happy with that lap time. Something's going on with Coyes because I literally can't spectate him, and his lap time's been like removed. What is going on? Every time I try and spectate him, it just goes on to Crooked Vulture. Well, you might as well watch Crooked Vulture, or is CL Fan, oh, bit twitchy on the rear for the AlphaTauri. CL Fan will be next to cross the line. I was doing the tail brake and spun. That is outrageous. Nate, that is truly impressive. Right on board with the AlphaTauri driver sporting number 66. He crosses the line, and it's apparently the fastest lap according to the replay mode, but he is... Okay, something's going on here. Crooked Vulture then sets the quote-unquote fastest lap, which isn't the fastest lap. What is going on with the replay mode? Now, Gazelle, to be fair, he's done a pretty decent job, but it's only a 122.8 for Gazelle, which is not the fastest lap, just contrary to, well, clearly the game's beliefs. Here comes B Chills exiting the pits. I don't know if it's worth me leaving and rejoining to see if the spectator mode fixes itself. It seems to allow me to look at Coyes now, but I don't know if that's just because he's in the pits. Yeah, Yeah, indeed. Coys, has your lap time also disappeared for you, or not? Because I don't know. It's not there for me, but it was there. It's just been deleted. I don't know if you had track limits on your lap and it was a glitch, because it's glitching a lot whenever someone sets a lap time. Only for you. That's really interesting. I'm gonna do something that I don't like doing because normally it breaks the game. 22.4, yeah. No, even on here, it's giving me this rundown of the grid and says that Koi's. What is going on? Yeah, that's really, really interesting. Terminal damage, bloody hell, mate. You might need to back out. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna quit my menu, and then can someone send me a different invite, because I did use the one that Rainer sent, but we'll just try it with a different invite and see if that's any better. Not a great way. Cheers, Kois. Yo, how do I? Oh, everyone. Appreciate it. I'll, Here we go. Yeah, no, not a great way to start what could possibly be my final commentary for the foreseeable future. I don't know if anyone's watched any videos or seen anything about the new F1 game. I have been looking into it because I have been thinking, like, is it worth it? Yeah, that's sorted it now. Kois is our provisional pole sitter. Both Ferraris out. Definitely not their weekend. Let me sort this out again. That's good. B Chills. Well, he's got a reputation for being fast. Reputation for being clean? It's not a bad reputation. He has had a few incidents. He crosses the line and takes pole by nearly a second. I mean, you can say what you want about his racecraft, but the pace, well, the pace is really there. He then pulls over to the side of the track and retires from the session. That is an unreal power move from the Red Bull driver. I imagine maybe he's got like tea or something, or I don't know. That is unreal from the Red Bull. One lap, bangs in the fastest lap. Then he's off, he's done. Thinks he doesn't need to do any more than that. Will the Red Bull driver be proven wrong? Nate can't believe it. Let's see Rainer exiting the pits. Crooked Vulture, CL Fan both on outlaps. CL Fan is about to start his lap time, and whilst he is the slowest of the people who have set lap times, let's see what the AlphaTauri driver can do as we ride on board with the sister Red Bull team. Use a bit of curb through turn 2 there, then towards 5. Yep, touch the curb. Push the track limits, not too much. Cautious on the acceleration. On the accelerator pedal there for CL Fan. I guess it's better to be safe than sorry. You want to get a decent lap time on the board and not spin out and crash. Like Nate. I'm sorry. Then going through 6 and 7. Nicely done, threaded through. It looks nice, but is it quick? Watching the line into obviously the chicane that's only been here for I think 2 races in real life. Turn 9. Oh no, 3 races in real life. What's your thoughts on United? Do you know what? Obviously, I'm a big Liverpool fan. Season ticket holders. Went to Klopp's last game, and Kois, you're obviously a Spurs fan. I watched it today with my mates whilst I was out, and I am, as much as we're meant to hate United, crossing line, CL Fan gets it up to 6th. We'll move on to Rainer now, who's beginning his lap time. As much as we hate United, right now, and also let's ride on board with Rainer and check out how different his line is to the AlphaTauri. Crooked Vulture out of the session, that's a crash. CL Fan will have just gone past him, and you can see he's hit the wall there and lost the front left. Yeah, so as much as Liverpool fans are meant to hate United, I'm happier that they won. over United, over City. Seen. Oh, Reina doesn't use the curb there, going round 5. Nearly loses the rear end, manages to catch the car and keep it going. So maybe this won't be the best time in the world for the Argentine. Yeah, so I'm happy that United won. Not happy that they won, but I'm happy that it was them and not City. Because I really thought, oh, there's no chance, there's no point in them even playing. They might as well give the trophy to City before the game starts. But to be fair, I watched the game, United dominated for 80 minutes. And yeah, they gave a goal up around the 79-minute mark to Doku. But that's really like, they didn't let him into the box. It was just not great goalkeeping. I think a good, and don't get me wrong, Onana played well. But I think that's what separates him from a really good keeper, is that he makes those mistakes, and a good Premier League quality keeper, especially when you're playing for a club like United, shouldn't make a mistake like that, ever. Reina pushing the track limits to the maximum, manages to get P2, but only by a few hundredths of a second there from Coys, and Coys will be about to exit the pits at any time to, I imagine, snatch that back. Reina's going to have to get back to the pits quickly, get a fresh set of tyres on, unless he doesn't think he can go any quicker than that. But I think he can, because he was a bit twitchy on some parts of the racetrack. United were the better team that game. Haaland was quiet. Foden was shocking. De Bruyne didn't show up. Rodri was quiet. There was a good effort from Kyle Walker, but he wasn't really on it. Ortega made quite a few mistakes. City, they look like a bad football team out there. And they only really started showing up in those last moments of the game. Doku carried them through that, I think, as much as he could. And what a signings he's been. He is really quite, he's class. He is a good player. And I hate watching him play because I hate City. And the reason why I hate City more than United, I think, is just because they're plastic. They don't have any real fans. There's no passion in that club. And they've bought all of their success. And it's a soulless team winning it. And no one, I mean, if you looked at the celebrations when they won the Prem again, does that mean Man U get Europa League? No. It does mean that they get to play in the Community Shield, though, which is probably better than Europe. I'm kidding. Or does it? Actually, I don't know. That might be the case. I don't know. I don't think so. But, yeah, here is Coyes, though, on his outlap, getting the heat into those tyres. He was on provisional pole. Reina snatched up the P2 spot, but that was after B. Chills had flown to the top. The Red Bull driver not messing around. I remember some people saying that Newcastle need Man U to lose to get European football. That was last year, and yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense because Newcastle came 4th last season. So nah, I don't think that's right because I don't know, because Newcastle came 4th last season, which gave them Champions League football, which ultimately I think ruined their season this time round through injuries. Yeah, no, they got. Yeah, no, I don't know about that. Maybe it wasn't losing the FA Cup. It was losing their last Premier League game that you're on about. But I've got no idea. Anyway, this is a man who will probably never experience his club winning any trophies in his lifetime. Coyes, the unfortunate Tottenham Hotspur fan. It is, something I would never wish upon even my worst enemy. Being a supporter of Tottenham it's really heartbreaking. But it is a purple Sector 1 for the man in the papaya orange McLaren, really pushing the car to the white lines of this track. He looks so nice. Yet again, right up against the wall. on the verge of track limits, but he's just teasing with them. The stewards on the edge of their seats. Coys crosses the line and he snatches P2 right back off Rayner and then retires from the session because he knows he cannot do any better than that because he can't get around for another lap. So it's all really in the hands of this man. I think Lucas as well has got pace, but he hasn't necessarily displayed it so much today. Rayner, he's the only person who can take pole position from B Chills, and I severely that's not the right term I was trying to use. Let me recuperate. I sincerely don't think, there you go, that was the right word, Rayner is going to find a second or just under on this lap. Oh yeah, I forgot United qualify for... Oh, is that how it works? My bad then. I didn't realise winning the FA Cup means that you get into Europa League, you get European football if you don't... Hang on a minute. When Wigan won the Europa League... no, Wigan won the FA Cup once, didn't they? Or was it not the FA Cup they won? Did they win the other one? Like the Carabao or whatever it was called back then? Because they beat City, I remember that a few years ago. Wigan beat City in a final. Did that mean that Wigan got European football? Wigan Athletic, wow, imagine. Right, Rayner, the only man who can stop a B Chill's pole position in my eyes, unless we have an unlikely hero, because Lucas hasn't really seemed on it today. Middle sector lit up purple by the multiple world champion. Yeah, they got relegated that year too. That's crazy. That is crazy. What a time. I became a massive Wigan fan that day. They hold a special place in my heart just for that game. Rayner rounding the final corner towards the line. Can he snatch it at the death here? No, he can't. He improves, but only by a tenth. He can't even get P2. It's a second row start for Rayner. It's front row for Coys and B Chills. B Chills only needed one lap to win. Oh no, not to win. To get pole by 6/10. Gazelle, he then rounds out the second row. Lucas unable to perform maybe to his usual standards. Good lap there from Gazelle at the end to get P4, Lucas P5, Cialfan P6, Crooked Vulture P7, Nate P8 and Dov Myers P9, the two Ferraris having a very poor qualifying session, neither of them managing to get a lap in. It is the final race of the season. The championship's been decided. And the man who's won it all hasn't even shown up. That's right, Rayner is watching ice hockey. No, not Rayner. Mikhail. Mikhail is watching ice hockey. We wait in anticipation as everybody loads in. Oh, formation lap. Last week we didn't have a formation lap, it was straight into the 5 red lights, which caught me and I'm guessing many other people off guard as well. Right, let's have a look. Apologies, at the tyres. Mediums for everyone except for 5th place Lucas and the 2 Ferraris. So, the 2 Ferraris, well, we've got nothing to lose. Let's go long into this race. Try different. Do they think they can maybe get to... I mean, if the mediums are going at a stretch to lap 19, the hards can get there comfortably. could you push those hards to 21 and then go soft for the rest of the race? Even 9 laps, pitting lap 20 on the softs when you've got, you know, less weight because of less fuel, so less tyre wear, could work. And remember, this is Aurora Racing League. We're almost certainly going to get a safety car. So, the Ferraris, well, they might as well experiment. It's the last race of the season. They're just trying something different, and who can blame them? Lucas will be looking to gain a few positions off the start. I think if he can get to P3 off the start, he will be absolutely buzzing. But I think he's realistically, he'll be looking to get past Gazelle. I mean, he'll try and put pressure on his teammate, but I don't know if he'll be able to dispatch Rayner. He's pretty decent, Rayner, around Abu Dhabi, so it's not the simplest of tasks. Coys will be looking to get past B Chills, and might use the fact that B Chills tends to have bad race starts, if you remember Brazil. Oh no, my headphones are dying. That is not good. I'm going to quickly switch my wired headphones. Pray that I don't miss the start. I'm going to miss the start, aren't I? Oh no. Right, just in the nick of time. It is the final race of this season here at Aurora Racing League. It's lights out and away we go. CL Fan jumps the start. B Chills gets away well and leads comfortably into turn 1. Coy's not getting away well at all and is already under pressure from the Mercedes behind him. Going through the first few corners, we ride on board with the rear wing of the Red Bull driver, and that's Crooked Vulture out of the session already, and it's already a virtual safety car. So an ideal start for everyone except for CL Fan and Crooked Vulture. Lucas not able to make the move quite yet, but it has only been a few corners. I'm trying to untangle my earphones, which is proving difficult. Praying the virtual safety car doesn't end too soon. But I have a feeling sooner rather than later it will. Coy's sticking right to the back of B Chills. I thought the VSC had ended there. That's just the FIA toying with us a little bit. I think it will end very soon though, and Coy's is right up the rear end of that Red Bull. B Chills might have a bit of defending to do here when the green flags appear. Crooked Vulture leaves the session. CL Fan still needs to serve that drive-through. Both the Ferraris made up 2 positions. It's green flag racing, and they're away. It's a very bad first corner for B Chills, and he drops down the order. I think there's an end plate off someone's car there, and Nate takes the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's opened up for the Ferrari driver. Rayner spins around. Nate's off the track. Dov Myers down the inside. Nate drops to 4th. Coys is P2, and he's the only one of the top 3 who's still intact in this race. Rayner and B Chills both really struggling. Rayner definitely suffering more so than B Chills. B Chills is now putting Nate under a lot of pressure, and Coy's back up to P1. Watching Nate fly into the lead there was unbelievable. B Chills dives down the inside of the Ferrari, who's now down in P5. So it was short-lived. And Dov Myers, well, the 2 Ferraris have had an unbelievable recovery into this race. And remember, they've got the hard tyres on. They were 1 and 2 at one point. It was a very brief second, but they were 1 and 2. And Dov Myers still running up there in P2 at the moment. He is going to be, well, doing his best to keep that P2 for as long as he possibly can. And when he gets into the pits, Well, he might have just cracked the strategy. Dominoes are falling into place for the Ferraris. B. Chills, despite his incident, does set the fastest lap time. And this is unbelievable because the Ferrari is putting the McLaren under pressure more so than Gazelle is putting him under pressure. B. Chills flies down the inside into turn 5, and all of a sudden the Ferrari might have an issue in the form of a Red Bull right behind him. Here comes B. Chills. He's going to go the long way round. Is he going to go for both the moves as Coys goes to cover the Ferrari? He doesn't go to cover the Red Bull, and that's 2 places in 1 corner. B. Chills into the lead of the race. Dov Myers up into P2. And he, now down the inside on B. Chills. Can he retake the lead of the race? The Ferrari sticks it in the inside. Can B. Chills try and fight it around the outside? He does. Is he going to keep the position though? He has the unfortunate line, and Dov Myers retakes the lead of the race. And now Gazelle trying to sling it up the inside of the Red Bull driver. Not going to happen this time, but Coys drops to 4th. Well, this is a really eventful first few laps, and the Ferrari has managed, well, to almost fluke his way into P1 again. B. Chills will be hunting him down, and I imagine it's going to be a short-lived lead again for the Ferrari, but it's been an unreal start for the man who started on the back row. B. Chills now around the outside into turn 5. It was short-lived, but a cracking performance nevertheless. And DRS for the Ferrari. Well, I think he's a bit too far back to utilise it, but you know, that is really, really impressive from the Ferrari. How he's able to hold on to Coys and then stick with the battle when B. Chills went around the outside of both of them. He used the DRS fantastically, and down the inside he kept the car ahead, squeezed B. Chills into a really difficult position on the track. Overall, really impressive performance on hard tyres as well. He's flying on the hards. Wait till he's on the mediums or softs. Gazelle sticking with the back of the McLaren driver. Hasn't given this one up yet. Coys will bring him closer to the Ferrari. B. Chills off into the sunset. Sun is setting as well here over the circuit of Yas Marina. You can see how far up riding on board with Gazelle that Red Bull driver is. Coys within a second of the Ferrari is going to get DRS. Well, how is this going to affect his chances of getting an overtake done? I think he's obviously going to have to hold off now, but you know, it might be a different story towards turn 9. I think it's going to be a very different story if Coys is brave enough to send it. Well, there's bravery and then the stupidity, and it would have been completely stupid to send it from back there, where I kind of misread how close he'd be. But he is all over the back of the Ferrari, a little bit deep into 12. Towards 15 and 16 they go. B. Chills 4.5 seconds up the road. Is it going to be another fastest lap for the Red Bull? Not this time. No DRS on the start-finish straight. Gazelle, remember, he's still hanging on to this battle. In fact, he's closer to the McLaren than the McLaren is to the Ferrari. So make of that or what you will. Towards turn 5 then. Coys, he's going to have to utilise the extra grip of those mediums, get a better turn in. Doesn't use the curb. Does he get a better exit? It seems pretty even Stevens. DRS open for the McLaren driver. How close is he going to get? going into 6. Close, but not close enough. You can see how he widens the line up there, so that he can take a more aggressive entrance into that chicane. And towards turn 9, the flap is open once more. Is he going to go left? Is he going to go right? He's forced the long way around. Is he going to make it work? The McLaren driver on the Ferrari. Beautiful shot that the game has given us. And he does in absolute style. Coy's up to P2. Dov Myers, though, he won't give it up just yet. He has seemingly just cut the corner ever so slightly. So he might be on a warning or two. No penalties yet, and in fact, CL Fan has actually served his drive-through penalty. And he's still ahead of both the Mercedes. Dov Myers, he's stuck with the McLaren really well. It's really impressive. I mean, he doesn't have the same pace in the clean air, but as soon as he gets behind another car, it's like he's attached to them. And here he comes towards turn 5. Well, no send there, but you know, with DRS towards 6, it's almost inevitable that the Ferrari driver is going to get through unless he wants to wait for 9, which he doesn't. He's going to get through into 6, and that's Rayner. He is out of the session. Did he crash? I think that was a crash for Rayner. Here comes Coy's back on Dov Myers with DRS into 9. Dov Myers is going to make him go down the inside. Attempting, maybe, the old switcheroo, but he can't get it to work. He made that really easy for Coy's. I think he wanted to make the gap, or make his line his preferred line, rather than he wanted to stay on the racing line, essentially. So he got a better exit, so maybe he could contend going through this technical section of the track. And while he wasn't able to do so, he has stuck with the back of the McLaren. Once again, you saw Rayner's car glitching there on the kind of ghosted, even though he's out. Rayner, if you're in chat, what happened? Was it a crash? Did you choose to retire? I think it would have been a crash. You're not the person to choose to retire from a race. We didn't see it, but if you could give us a little insight as to what it was, would be appreciated. Dov Myers again on the McLaren. Is he going to wait this time for the overtake? Yes, he is. Very intelligent move for the Ferrari driver, and it also allows Gazelle to get closer. This is going to be close, but did the Ferrari get the ideal run? It's going to work, but he's being forced the long way around. It doesn't faze him, and he is back ahead. So Dov Myers, even on those hard tyres, which should still really not have the same grip at this point in the race, B chose erratic driving on the VSC restart. He just stopped, right? Because obviously you crashed. Did you, at the start, did you have damage that was just, the damage that you received from that, was it like irreparable? So that was what caused you to crash. And I hit Coy's from behind, right? So did you like choose to DNF or, oh, wings gone, okay. Coy's in the dirty air of the Ferrari, but still able to keep nice and tight to the back of the Scuderia. I was 20 seconds and I'm tired of this game. Yeah, well, I've heard a lot about this new one. Apparently the grip, the handling model is really weird. That is interesting from Coy's. He shuts the DRS flap so that he doesn't get as much of a benefit. Ooh, pushing the Ferrari through. The Ferrari lets him by so that he picks up the DRS. That is Oh, no, he doesn't. Does he? Which of them picked up? Neither of them picked up DRS. Neither of the cars picked up DRS. And here comes Gazelle round the outside. Can the Aston Martin driver stick the move? I think he might be able to. Going into turn 10 and 11, Gazelle has gone into P2. Brakes early. Coys runs into the back of him. And that makes Dov Myers run into the back of Coys. These three are offering top tier entertainment for the final race of the season. And although it's only the battle for P2, it is a brilliant battle. And Gazelle from nowhere is now the leader of the battle for second. The Aston Martin driver's been really smart here, and Coys was smart as well to not use the DRS, so that he didn't close up and overtake into turn 6, because obviously you'd rather have the DRS towards 9, because there isn't any more DRS zones where the other person can then come back and take you. But in doing that, and so he's doing it again, Coys, shuts the flap there, he allows the driver behind him to get so close that he actually compromises himself a little bit, as he did on the last lap, because the other driver's also trying to make a lunge, and Dov Myers didn't make it any easier because of the fact that he slowed down to try and allow Coys to, well, allow himself to get the DRS and Coys to not get the DRS, essentially. Virtual safety car. I imagine someone's front wing's gone. Yes, it is, and it is the Ferrari of Nate. Rayner leaves the session, so we get the migrating host. Hopefully that doesn't lag the session out. B-Chills is light years away at this current time. We're 10 laps in. Rayner, if you're still in chat, oh, into the pits come 2 of the top 4, but predictably Dov Myers stays out because he's on those hard tyres, he's going longer into the race, he doesn't need to match their strategy at all. He's actually going to get a really nice gap here to them. He'll be in the free air. Okay, he's not going to chase down B-Chills, that's obviously not going to happen, and yes, the 2 drivers behind him will get closer, but as long as they don't get in overtaking range, by the time, you know, Dov Myers goes into pits, he's going to be on much better tyres, because I imagine these 2 have both gone onto the hard tyres. We'll check now. Yeah, they have. They've both gone onto the hards, which means they are doing this to the end of the race. Dov Myers, he will be on mediums or softs, depending on how much confidence he has. He's going to be on much better tyres than either of the 2 behind him for the remainder of this race. The only thing is, with pit stops, is that the game kicked you outright. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I was going to say, you don't normally leave, because obviously the migrating host thing is pretty, like, it can mess up servers, as we know. The only bad thing about these pit stops is that, well, no one is anywhere near each other, except for these 2, who are still separated by 1.5 seconds just over. Hopefully Coys can reel in Gazelle, just for entertainment's sake. Because we've still got, 17 laps of this race to go. I don't really want them to be boring, but we have been treated to some absolute fantastic lap times prior to this, so can't really complain all too much. I'm actually going to ride on board with Coys, see what parts of the track he's losing time, see what parts of the track he's gaining time. So what I was going to say, actually, Rainer, sorry, I kind of got sidetracked. I don't know, I struggle to concentrate on things. So the new game has obviously been announced, and, you know, the beta testing has been well underway. There's been many videos made by many different creators on how the game's gonna be like. There's the new ERS management, where it's a bit more like the F1 2019 game, and the ones before that, before they made it so all it is clicking a button. Have you seen anything about the new game? Apparently the handling is really weird, and because real drivers have commented on it and Verstappen's been more involved, apparently the front end of the cars seem really, really pointy. So the car is very responsive at the front end, but it's like it's dragging the rear end around and causing the rear end to slide. Coy's dropping off, actually. He's lost about a tenth since where he started, trying to hunt down Gazelle, so not a great lap for the McLaren. Obviously, EA always promote the game, say it's going to be great. It's going to be way better than last time, and it normally never is. Do you think there's a... Do you think the new game's going to be better? Has this game... I mean, F123 surely wasn't as bad as F122. That was... Well, unless you think so. I don't know what your opinions were. I stopped doing league racing and basically stopped playing the games. I only commentated because of that game. And then I just fell out of love for the games. Hence why I've only really commentated on F123, barely raced myself, and I'm not getting F124 for the same reason. They keep changing the handling models all the time, and you just want to get one that works and stick with it. I think the F121 was a good handling model, but I don't know. This game, though, surely wasn't as bad as F122, because that was a truly terrible game. Coy's gap has increased by a tenth yet again, and he's setting in personal bests. So Gazelle clearly has a little bit more in the tank when it comes to race pace, which is interesting. Not something I was expecting, really. I thought Coy's would be catching with ease, but Gazelle is gaining a lot each lap on Dov Myers in front, and he's also pulling out a gap to Coy's. That first sector, Coy's gets closer, but through this middle sector and the final sector, he just doesn't have it. I don't know if it's the setup or if it's genuinely just race pace on the hard tyres, because he seemed to be miles quicker than Gazelle, and it was only really him and Dov Myers in the race the entire time. And Gazelle was kind of just trailing along, but all of a sudden Gazelle has found a second gear, and that was very twitchy on the rear end for Coy's. That will cause him to drop out at 2 seconds, 2.1 seconds reach of Gazelle. Not looking overly positive for the McLaren driver. He does close that gap back to within 2 seconds briefly. Gazelle has just cut down on the Ferrari by over 1.5 seconds that lap, so I'm thinking maybe the Ferrari driver is going to be looking at pitting sooner rather than later, going onto the mediums and having the stronger tyres. But if I was him, I'd wait until about there within the, say, 3 second range, because you don't want to jump the gun, but then again you also don't want to give yourself too steep of a mountain to climb. He's going to need to really push these hards now to the most he can and stop them making massive gains on him. Otherwise he could be looking at a 4th place finish, which is definitely the worst case scenario right now for him. In terms of like getting a good result, the worst good result he could get is 4th. He wants to push for the podium. He wants to push for P2. And I think he knows that he can. Gazelle, well, somewhere the pace has dropped off, or somewhere for Coy's he's actually got into the rhythm, because that gap's just dropped from 2 seconds to 1.6, 1.7. But it is dropping. It has just gone up a little bit, but Coy's dragging himself back behind. Maybe had a few dodgy laps, but he's locked in now. Gazelle, the gap is, well, there's B Chills into the pits. Let's see what the Red Bull driver has put on. He's put on the hards to the end. So he's given himself a bit of a mountain to climb, because he could have pitted a little bit earlier, but he decided against it as well. I do not doubt this man's ability to claw through the order, but Gazelle's gap to Dov Myers is now 3 seconds. If I was the Ferrari, I don't think I'd leave it another lap. I think I'd box now because things are going to start getting really tough. I don't know about the handling. It's not looking promising. No, and handling, the handling model of a game is really, especially if I like the F1 games, it's not really something you can just go and then change when the game's been launched. When YouTubers, and I don't know if you watch Arav or Arava. I don't watch much of his videos, but when a new game comes out, I find he does like alright videos, like showcasing what the new game looks like. B Chills is flying on these hard tyres, as I suspected, and he is always like he does not want to put a bad word in. He wants to be on the good side of EA, the good side of Codemasters. He wants them to give him more opportunities to come out to events, do stuff, because it's better for his channel. And he will always say the people-pleasing stuff. But even he's been saying the handling isn't great. And that's where I kind of know it must be pretty bad if he's saying bad stuff about it. B Chills up to P2. Dov Myers has pitted, and he is out on the mediums, which is what I suspected as well. The Ferrari driver has got his work cut out for him. 12 laps to make up 16 seconds, but on those medium tyres, it is very possible he just has to put in some qualifying laps. B Chills is now right on the back of Gazelle, and actually, this has really helped Coys, because Coys has managed to get in the DRS of B Chills, which is dragging him closer to Gazelle, and all of a sudden, Coys might be able to get involved in a little battle with Gazelle again and go for P2. B Chills fakes to the outside, switches to the inside, then brakes a little bit earlier, gives Gazelle the thought, oh, he's not going to go for it, and then he does send it. B Chills is back into P1 as, well, I suspected. I didn't think it was going to be that quick, but he's done it already. And all of a sudden, this is Coys all over the back of Gazelle. Brakes a little bit earlier, does Gazelle in to 16 than Coys thought he would. They do bump, have a little bit of contact there, but nothing too detrimental to either of them, I don't think. No debris falling off either of the cars, no visible damage. Is Coys going to go for it? No, he knows that he needs to wait for the DRS. My question is, will he send it when he's got the DRS? Or is he going to not deploy it? Well, it's deployed. He pulls to the left-hand side of the track. And through goes Coys up into P2. I mean, he must know there's no chance he's hunting down B Chills. Was this the wisest decision from the McLaren? Obviously, he was playing it the entire time where, oh, I'm just going to wait. Mate gets another penalty. I'm going to wait. But Coys actually seems to have got more pace now, and Gazelle wasn't even able to come back. Oh, sorry, hit the microphone. Come back into turn 9. Coys then. He is up into P2, and I think he's comfortably into P2. I think it was also really important for him to kind of dispatch it, because Dov Myers will start gaining on these two as their tyres drop off. And, yeah, it's important to not be in a battle the entire time. You don't want to hold each other up and then both get picked off by a driver. I think it's beneficial for the both of them that there isn't any fighting right now. And although Gazelle, I think, would like to be ahead, if he's got any chance of finishing on the podium, this is probably what's best, rather than fighting it too hard. And to be fair to him, I don't think he did fight it too hard. He stuck to his racing line. He let Coys down the inside. Gazelle knew that's not his fight now. Let's just get to the end of the race. The pace that he had earlier on that set of hard tyres was phenomenal. He has just lost it though, as Coys has got into the rhythm. And Dov Myers is really starting to take chunks out of the gap. Remember, it was 14 seconds earlier on in this lap. It's now down to 12 and a half, pretty much. We'll have to wait and see. There isn't any fighting going on anywhere. Gazelle 1.4, 1.5. I think he needs to stay in the 2-second range, really. He would love to get DRS back on Coys. Even if it's a second back and he doesn't actually end up getting anywhere near overtaking, it's very crucial for him to just get dragged along by the McLaren. And it's not looking like it's going to happen at all at the moment, because he's dropping further and further back as the lap commences. We tick over to lap 20. That means there's 10 laps to go of this race. 10 laps for Dov Myers to make 11 seconds, and that's just to get into P3. He wants to get that P2. He knows he can get the P2. But the Ferrari driver, nowhere to be seen just yet. The moment, though, that we start seeing him emerging, well, actually, we're going to see him emerge just now. There he is in the background of that shot. Getting onto the straight, obviously no DRS for him. The gap that Gazelle has to Coys is now 2 seconds. He is slowly dropping back. I want to say 5/10 a lap, I think. Dov Myers taking more out of that gap. It's now down to 10.3. By the end of the lap, I wouldn't be surprised if he just manages to get into the 9s. The Ferrari driver, clearly more grip, and you're about to see it tick over into the 9s, yes. 9.8 question mark. 9.8 exclamation mark. 9.7? You bet. 9.6 even. Gazelle is really struggling, and it is showing 9.4 now. So Dov Myers is flying here. Gazelle, well, he was flying, but now his wings seem to be worn out. The gap drops below 9 seconds. He's just lost he's gained a second on Gazelle in about 10, not even that, 6 corners. I would be petrified if I was either of the top two. Gazelle now 3 seconds behind Coys. Remember, he was only 2 seconds at some point on the last lap. So Gazelle really has lost his pace. Dov Myers, he's broken into the 7-second gap. Has he? No. Stays at the 8 seconds, I imagine, going through this corner, though. Yep. It's the corners. It's the corners that really gets that. Look at the boost he's getting through the corner. So, next time he goes through a corner, see, he's going to stop gaining so much now. He's still gaining because he's getting better exits and stuff. B chose 3-second time, but going through this corner, though. Watch the time that he increases. Yep. He's just done about 4/10 through a corner. 3/10 through a corner, I think. And this technical section of the track is where he's really going to start gaining time. Going to ride on board with the Ferrari. He's just got so much more grip. Remember, this is the man that started on the back row of the grid. He led this race momentarily a few times. He could be looking at a P2. Now, he's got his work cut out for him. It's definitely not going to be easy. I mean, he's still got 9 seconds to Coys, who is ever increasing the gap between him and Dov Myers. No, him and Gazelle, sorry. But, it isn't looking too bad right now for Dov Myers. You wouldn't count him out of, and there he is. Look at how much closer he is now going through that shot. That was only in the space of 2 laps, bear in mind. Coys, who I believe is on the back of 2 back-to-back wins. I think not going to happen for him today unless B Chills bottles it. And Dov Myers is closer to Gazelle than Gazelle is to Coys. This is it. This is where Dov Myers really has to perform. The gap to Coys is now still around 9. It's just under. I think it's 8 point something. Let's check the gap to the leader real quick. Let's see if his gap to the leader is increasing or decreasing. Because then we'll really get a sense of how fast he's going. So yeah, it is increasing. But, I mean, B-Chills is just a different beast, I think. Racecraft? But, I mean... You know, his race pace is ridiculous. Dov Myers, I mean... Gazelle is well in sight, but he needs to keep these laps coming. Because ultimately, Gazelle, he's going to pass Gazelle. He really will desperately want to get past Coys. The Hards, obviously, they've got better longevity than the... Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Than the mediums. 12-lap-old Hards aren't exactly fast. 6-lap-old mediums, they're not too bad. But those mediums will turn into about 10, 11-lap-old mediums versus, what, 16-lap-old Hards, so... Still got his work cut out for him. 2.3, the gap. We're going to ride on board with the Ferrari and see the gains that he makes over the course of the lap time. Gap to Coys is about 8.2, but I feel like that is going to drop a lot more. Nate battling with Lucas, so we're going to skip to this for a second. Nate and Lucas going at it. Nate sticking with the Mercedes driver, but I think Lucas ultimately has more pace. He is trying to finish P2 in the drivers today. I think Coys might actually be the one who's going to steal it from him. Definitely a step in the right direction for Coys, and it'll be interesting to see if maybe he can become a championship contender if he consistently appears week in, week out, stays out of incidents. He's getting faster, it's showing. Could we see another championship contender in the making here? I mean, we've had a few unlikely ones. I mean, Rayner coming back from, you know, wheel broke, gets on controller, wins the championship, and it's poetic. He deserved it. We had totally no pro before him. That was a surprise to me. Dov Myers now within a second, but he really has to start making moves. 5 laps to go. He will get past Gazelle, it's a given, but that move on Coys is looking really unlikely now. Unless he can find something in the closing stages of this lap, he's going to need to start moving more than a second a lap quicker. Which is crazy, and I mean, fair play to Gazelle. He does just get out of the way. He doesn't want anything to do with that battle. I don't blame him. You know, any contact down that straight, the speed you go, it could ruin your race. Gazelle will be very happy to take a comfortable 4th. It's really up to Dov Myers now. 7 seconds, the gap. He's got 4.5 laps to get that gap down to nothing. He's about to start this lap, which means he's got 4 laps to gain just under 7 seconds. That means he's going to have to be moving at 1.75 seconds quicker than Coys every single lap. Remember, he was 6.7, the gap was, on that occasional lap. He needs this gap by the end to beat 5 seconds. If he doesn't do that, which is, by the way, is very, very difficult to do, I don't think it's going to happen. And it's not looking too confident so far. But I think the takeaway from this is that Dov Myers has had a really, really impressive performance. I mean, Nate was joking about a last to first. Dovmeyers, on a different day, could have done it. I mean, P2 was always going to be a stretch. Again, on a different day, maybe. But it is too much to ask for this time round, I think. Unless Coys has a collapse. He needs a calamity to end this. B-Chills will fly off. Sun rarely has set now. The lights are on, and not the 5 red lights. As the sun drops behind the landscape of Abu Dhabi, night falls, and it is the end of another season. And probably, at the moment, the end of my commentary here at Aurora Racing League. I'll take these last 2.5 laps, really let it sink in, take it all in, because it's been just under 2 years I've been commentating here. If you go back and watch the first highlights on YouTube, Aurora Racing League YouTube channel, you will you will hear me in my first commentary with a guy called Luke. I think, oh god, Scottish or Irish, I'm not going to say either, because I mean that's offensive enough that I can't remember which one he is. You will hear my voice. You'll hear that it's quite a bit more high pitched. A lot's happened since then. A lot has happened in Aurora Racing League, in my life. And it's not a goodbye. It might just be a see you later. But I don't know when later is. So if it is truly the end, I would like to thank everybody who has tuned into the streams, been a part of the racing, been in the Discord and just spoken to me before. A big shout out, 3 big shout outs to Rainer for, you know, keeping this server going for so long. And it's, you know, I joined in the 3rd season of Aurora Racing League. There was 2 before that, which I missed. Rainer, he is really, he's done a good job with a league this good. Organisation, it's not easy to run a league. As B-Chills begins the final lap this season on the back of Lucas, he will go through the ghost of the Mercedes. So a big shout out and thank you to Rainer. Honestly, he doesn't get enough recognition and praise for the job he does. This is easily the best league I've ever been in, and it wouldn't be possible without someone who runs it as well as he does. Secondly, I would like to thank Nate. Genuinely, there's a lot of people who have been in the streams. Nate's always been in the streams, even when he hasn't been racing. And when he wasn't in League One, it was like, when he wasn't in the top tier, it was like, why are you joining the streams? Don't you have something? But he just wanted to be in the streams, and he genuinely enjoyed watching it, and he kept me company. So I really do appreciate that. I don't think he's watching, and I don't think he had the greatest relationships with people, but Ern was my Ted Kravitz. Ern was there day one, every single stream for so long, by my side, kept me company. Obviously he's not here anymore, but he was really the OG. But is it an end of an era, or is it just a hiatus? We'll have to wait and see. But it's donuts over the line and into the wall for B-Chills, who wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the final race of the season. Coys will round the final corner and see the checkered flag He takes P2, and I think that's second in the driver's standings as well. Dov Myers, from the back of the grid, finishes on the podium. What a performance. And it's donuts right at the end for Gazelle. He's got all the time in the world. He doesn't care. And Gazelle, donuts maybe over the line. Indeed, into the wall and wheels flying off. CL Fan will be the next to cross the line. Coys, it was indeed. Thank you very much, Rainer. Thank you for having me. CL Fan over the line, slows it down, tries to get a donut going. Not quite. We've got two drivers DNF there. Coys and Gazelle. Lucas will be next across the line. The only man who really was in it to stop Mikhail all season. He gets the donuts going before he crosses the line. The Mercedes driver, he knows that there's nothing in it, and he doesn't care. Last to cross the line to put a curtain on this season of Aurora Racing League. Lucas crosses the line to take P6. Donuts over the line. A poetic way to end a poetic season. And that is it. Once more, thank you to everyone at Aurora Racing League for putting up with me. I appreciate it, Lucas. Congratulations to those on the podium. B Chills, Coys, and Dov Myers. Have a good retirement. I'll enjoy it. My Saturday nights will be empty now. Big Gaze, what an absolute unit he was. No, I appreciate it, Gazelle. Thank you, everyone, once more, and I will truly miss it. Maybe it's not goodbye forever. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, thank you to everyone. And thank you for commentating here for this league. I was here for 3 races, but listening to your commentary was one of the best parts of the race. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate it. And I'll still be active in the server because I don't want to leave behind the server, because I still watch all of the highlights if they're still being made. If anyone ends up commentating in like basically as replacement, I'll watch all the highlights. I'll have a look at the incident reports as well. They're always fun. Now it's time to delete F123. Good riddance. I think we could say the same about the last few F1 games, actually. But it was a fun race. Obviously, Coys, you said it was boring. It was for the last few laps, but there was a good battle between you, Gazelle, and Dov Myers. That's if F124 is good. But no, once more, thank you to everyone who's ever been involved in Aurora Racing League. I do really appreciate it. Hopefully it's not goodbye forever, but we'll see. But maybe for the final time ever at Aurora Racing League, I've been Dan. And from me to you, everyone at Aurora Racing League, wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, or good night.